Learning English with Enjoy. Letters to Guy, Part 4. Letter 15. Rottnest Island, February. We stayed on Rottnest Island in February. Some days were hot. Some days were windy. Some days were cool. Most mornings were hot. But around noon, the sea wind came. The sea wind made the air fresh. The sea wind helped us feel better. At night, the land wind came. The land wind made our nights cool, helped us sleep well. We waited for the boat 2 times each week. Sometimes the boat stopped in the sea. Sometimes the boat moved slowly. The men in the boat felt tired and felt hot. They had to row when the wind died. One time, the doctor left Fremantle in the morning. He reached Rottnest in the evening. It took all day. He started going back 2 hours later. There was no wind. He had to stay on the sea all night. That was a hard trip for him. Boat day was always busy and full. The boat brought fruit, vegetables, and flowers. The boat brought ice, clothes, and friends. The boat took old things back. Boat day was fun and noisy. Even the animals liked boat day. The cows got melons, pear tops, and green leaves. The canaries got chickweed. The wild birds got grapes. The birds flew inside the house. They ate the fruit. They loved the peaches and the grapes. They pecked the fruit with their beaks. I gave them old fruit, but they liked fresh fruit more. Louis loved grapes. He ate grapes all day, at night, and in bed. He fell asleep with grapes in his mouth. Now let me tell you about the shooting. There were many snipe on the island. The snipe came in spring. They were not real snipe. They were like plovers. They had long legs and long beaks. Their feathers were black and white. The snipe loved the salt lakes. The snipe came in big groups. Thousands of them came. Nobody knew where they went in winter. The snipe were good to eat. Many people came to shoot them. Every evening, men went to the lakes. The snipe were shy. The snipe were fast. The men hid behind bushes. The men wore strong boots. The stones were sharp. The ground was hard. The birds flew away fast. The gulls gave warning. The snipe flew over the hills. It was hard to shoot them, but we always had enough birds for food. We also saw hares. We saw them at sunset. We did not shoot them. They needed time to grow. I brought guinea fowl here. I hoped they would stay, but hawks and wild cats hunted them. The ducks came early in the morning. The ducks came at night. The ducks were smart. The ducks were shy. It was hard to shoot a duck, but the governor shot some ducks. He was very good at it. Native men helped with the shooting. They went with the hunters. They picked up the birds from the lakes. They liked to help. They felt happy. They got tobacco as a gift. Every evening, a hawk came and watched us. The hawk waited and stole birds. The hawk was fast. If a bird fell in the lake, the hawk got it. We could not stop him. When the hawk went away, I said, "Time to go home." Fishing was also good, but we had no boat of our own. The island boats were busy. Ships came near Rottnest. Pilots helped ships come in. Rottnest was the biggest island. Other islands were small. One island had snakes. One island had rabbits. I didn't know what rabbits ate there. The land was dry. I loved driving to the lighthouse. I loved the view. I loved the wind. I took fruit and papers to the keeper. They had no garden. They had no fresh food. They liked melons and grapes. The island cart was very funny. It was high and heavy. It was made long ago. It had a big crown painted on the side. It was hard to climb into it. It was easy to fall out of it. The roads were made by prisoners. The roads were good, but the ride was rough. Sometimes there were accidents. Once, the horse kicked and broke the cart. Another time, the cart turned over. Nobody was hurt, but we needed bandages and care. I always told the driver, "Please be careful." I liked to drive to the far beach. The shells were pretty. The seaweed was shiny. But we had to walk the last part. I liked to walk. I liked the breeze. I liked the surprise coves. My friend Ethel liked them too. Sometimes the men brought a boat to take us home. We loved the moonlight ride, but the men only did it when there was no more gunpowder or no birds to shoot. One rocky path went into the sea. It looked like a jetty. It helped protect our harbor, but it was slippery. The waves washed over it. Birds liked it. The snipe loved it, but no one could get close. The hawks built nests there. They stayed every year. We had wonderful fish. We had whitebait. We had crayfish. The big fish were strong. One big fish pulled me hard. I gave my line to a strong man. He needed help to catch it. Letter 16th. Rottnest, 3rd March. I told you before that I would write about the natives. So today, I will write about the native people. There were about 150 native prisoners on Rottnest Island. Some of them did very bad things. Some killed people for no reason. Some acted like wild people. Some did not understand that killing is wrong. Last year, some natives killed a man. They planned it. They knew it was wrong. So the judge said they must be hanged. But if a native did not understand what he did, he was not killed. He was sent to Rottnest. On Rottnest, the people treated him kindly. They wanted to teach him to live a better life. They wanted to help him change. They hoped that after prison, he would go home and live a good life. On Sundays, the prisoners were free to walk around the island. They were free to catch food. They liked to find food for themselves. They made fishing lines. They made small spears. They went to fish. They looked for snakes and lizards. They cooked the food. They made small fires in safe places. They laughed. They talked. They were happy. They did not steal. They did not hurt anything. They came back at sunset. They were smiling and happy. No one watched them. Only the boats were locked, so they could not escape. The people trusted them. The people were kind to them. At night, the natives stayed in cells, but the cells were better than the small huts they had before. The cells were dry and safe. The natives sang. They laughed. They talked. The guards let them be happy. If they made too much noise, the guard said kindly, "Come, boys, too much noise," and they became quiet. The natives did not love hard work, but they did small jobs. They helped. They behaved well. Your father went to hunt ducks with 2 native men. These 2 men were murderers, but they were very good helpers. They found the ducks and brought them back. One man was named Peter. Peter was going to leave the prison soon. He liked your father. He said, "When Governor comes to my land, I give him turkey, I give him lizard, I give him fish." Peter said he wanted to show the governor how to throw a spear. But Peter made a mistake in the past. Peter said, "A woman talked too much to my wife. I wanted to hurt her leg, but I hit her throat. She died." Peter said he was not a bad man. He said the woman was bad. Some natives stole sheep. They said they didn't know sheep belonged to people. They thought sheep were like kangaroos. But the people knew they were lying. The people knew the natives tried to hide the meat. Some murders were strange. One native man's mother died. His family said he must kill someone from another tribe. The man killed a woman, but he still cried. He said, "I still cry. I still feel sad." Killing did not help him. Sometimes the natives wanted to kill someone without a reason. One white man walked in the bush. His native helper said, "Let me walk in front. I don't know if I can stop myself from killing you." The native did not hate the white man. He just had a strong feeling. The natives were very strong. They did not cry from pain. One day, Peter hurt his toe. It bled. The people told Peter to rest. But next day, Peter walked many miles. He laughed. He said he wanted to find more snipe and big ducks. There was a story in a book by Mr. Bro Smith. A man rode from Albany with a native helper. The native walked. He tore his toe on a stick. At night, he put his foot in hot fire. He burned it. He said, "Me carpenter make 'em." He fixed his toe. Next morning, he walked again. Before, natives had many burns on their skin. They sat too close to fire. Now, the government gives them clothes and blankets. They do not burn themselves so much. One night, we all went to see a corroboree. That is a native dance. The natives were very happy. They painted their bodies. They danced. They grunted. They moved together like one person. They all made the same sound at the same time. It was very strange. But it was also fun to see. After a while, the governor said, "Enough." And they all stopped and laughed and went to bed. Then we watched. The natives throw the kaili. The kaili is like a boomerang. It goes up into the air. It spins. It flies like a bird. Then it comes back to the same spot. It is amazing. The kaili made circles in the sky. Then it came back to the ground. It came back close to the man who threw it. They also threw spears. The spears were long, but they could throw them very well. They had a small wooden shield. The shield was very thin, but they could stop the spear with the shield. They used sharp stone to make the spears. They had strong gum from trees to hold the parts together. They made tools. They made ropes from fur. They made buckets from wood, made mats, and made baskets. They made things with no metal and no tools, just fire and stone and time. They also made message sticks. On the message stick, they drew lines. They showed news. They showed maps. They showed people and boats. The stick told stories. It was like a newspaper. But now, the natives stopped making these things. They use metal pots and white men's tools. They say they feel shy about their old ways, but they still love their tribes. They still speak their own languages. It is hard to teach the old natives. It is very hard, but we try to help the children. We try to give the children a better life. Sometimes the children stay. Sometimes the parents take them away. That makes me sad. But we try. We do our best. I love the children at the mission in Perth. They look happy. They look clean. They go to church. I see them every Sunday. They smile when they walk to church. And that is what I promised to tell you. I hope you liked reading about the native people. Letter 17, Rottnest Island, 16th March. Now I must tell you about the pets. The pets waited a long time. Now it is their turn. I think you would laugh a lot if you were here. You would laugh and play with them. Monsieur Puppy comes first. He is a little dog, but he thinks he is very big. He thinks he is the most important. He was a small Japanese pug, but he tried to be many other dogs. He tried to be a terrier. He tried to be a retriever. He tried to be a watchdog. He was very funny. He loved the beach. He loved the soft sand. He dug holes in the sand. He dug and dug until we saw only his tail. The sand flew everywhere. He liked to fetch sticks from the water. He went into the sea and came back wet. He did not like salt water. He made a funny face when he tasted it. Then he barked at the sea. Then he ran home to be dried. He also barked at the native boy. The boy brought messages from the heliograph station. The boy was kind, but the puppy barked every time. He never bit, only barked loudly. Puppy had many tricks. He begged for biscuits. He jumped for biscuits. He played dead. He drank the Queen's health. Every day after dinner, when someone said, "The Queen," Puppy jumped up. He gave 3 little barks. He knew it was biscuit time. Louis and Puppy were best friends. Louis sometimes teased him. One day, Puppy found a crab. He tried to catch it. The crab pinched his paw. Puppy cried and danced on 3 legs. I helped him and threw the crab into the sea. But Puppy never forgot the crab. When we came here, there were 3 tame emus. Now only 1 is left. The other 2 died by accident. The emus were very naughty. They took things from the veranda. They stole keys and fruit. One day, an emu ate a plate of mutton chops. The cook was angry. He threw a cleaver at the emu. The emu died. The natives ate it and said it was a fat fellow. Many wild parrots lived on the island. I saw them at the water hole. I gave them seed. I gave them crumbs. Every afternoon they came to my tea time. First, only a few birds came. Then more and more came. They came at 4 o'clock every day. They came for seed and cake. They were not afraid. They came close to my feet. They were very sweet. On Sundays, I let out my pet cockatoos and parrots. They came out of their cage. They walked to the lawn. They sat on my shoulder. They drank tea. They ate cake. They picked green leaves. One pink and gray parrot was jealous. It bit the puppy. The puppy never bit back. He only jumped away. Another bird was called 28 because its call sounded like 28. My big white cockatoo came from Albany. It looked ugly, but it was kind. It kissed me. It talked well. It barked like a dog. It meowed like a cat. It said children's words like, "Wait for me." The most beautiful birds were the jocolocals. They were white cockatoos with pink wings. They had soft feathers and big crests. I raised 2 baby jocolocals. Louie and I fed them every day. They shouted for food at sunrise. They grew up strong and clean. Now they are big and tame. One day I saw a funny race. It was between 2 parrots. One was small and clever. It could talk. The other was big and strong. It could not talk. The small parrot shouted, "Boy," and "Guard." When the big parrot chased it, the big parrot stopped and looked surprised. Then the little one ran away. It was very clever. My canaries lived in a big cage. They came from Sydney and Melbourne. The cage was very large. It had nests and baths and green food. The baby canaries fell out when we moved the cage. I picked them up. I fed them. They lived. Now they are big. I also had canaries from England. They came in a small cage. They were tired and had no tails, but they ate and sang. Now they are happy. Ants are the only trouble. They climb up to the cage. I stop them with saucers of water. Sometimes cows come to the veranda. Sometimes emus come. Sometimes they scare the birds. But I always chase them away with food. I give the cow watermelon. I give the emu nothing. So you see, my pets are very many. They are sweet, but they are naughty too, and they keep me very busy. Letter 18. Government House, Perth, 1st May, 1884. Before we left Rottnest Island at the end of March, the weather started to change. It was hot and dry before. Then some storms came from far away. Only a few drops of rain reached the island, but those few drops helped. The rain cooled the air. The rain made us feel fresh again. We were lucky to stay at Rottnest in the summer. We missed the big bushfires on the mainland. These fires made the weather hotter. At night, we saw big lines of fire. During the day, we saw thick smoke in many places along the coast. Sometimes it looked like Fremantle was on fire. But in the morning, we saw the smoke in the background. The white houses in Fremantle still looked bright and happy. It is hard to know how the bushfires started. Sometimes people were careless, but often old pieces of glass started the fire. The sun's light went through the glass and burned the dry grass. One small piece of glass could start a big fire. The fire moved fast through the forest. The fire looked big and dangerous, but it did not destroy much. After the rains, the forest looked green again. Even the black trees grew new leaves. The forest came back to life. Only the black tree trunks showed that a fire had happened. In February, I went to Perth for 2 days. It was very hot. The bushfires made it worse. On my way from Fremantle, I saw a fire that came close to a small house. Only the wide road stopped it. The people in the house must have been very scared. The garden looked burned. But when I went back to Rottnest, the air felt cooler at sea. For the last month, mornings and evenings were fresh. Nights felt cold. Spring and autumn in Western Australia are very nice. Summer can be too hot. Winter can bring rain and wind, but these only last a short time. Since I came back, I have been busy. I arranged the new furniture. I enjoyed the green garden. Most gardens in Perth looked dry in April. But ours was green because of the shady olive trees and vines. We still had grapes and figs. The oranges were almost ready. The fruit was sweet but small. We had many peaches, pears, and apricots. We also had almonds and apples. Now, let me tell you about our Christmas tree party. We planned it for Christmas, but we had to wait. First, the children got measles. Then we went to Rottnest. Finally, in April, we had 3 perfect days. Over 500 children in Perth saw a Christmas tree for the first time. On the first day, I had a garden party. I invited all my friends and their children. The children looked very pretty. Some were afraid of the big tree and the angel on top, but they felt happy when they got toys like drums and trumpets. The noise was terrible but fun. One special group was my cadet corps. These were young boys who trained like soldiers. They stood near the tree as guards. They looked very smart. Some did not have uniforms yet, but they all tried hard. Louis was the corporal. He and the other boys were very proud of their stripes. The small boys carried little rifles. Some could shoot. That made me nervous. I was afraid Louis might try shooting in the garden. He already throws spears, and I don't like walking with sharp things flying near me. On the second and third days, I invited school children. We gave them tea. They played on the lawn. Then they came inside to see the tree. I gave each one a gift. We did not take things off the tree until the last night. That night, we let the orphans and other poor children take the shiny decorations. The third night was the best. The orphans were very happy. We also invited children from the police, volunteers, and missions. Some children came again even though they were only supposed to come once, but they were so happy that I let them stay. I just didn't give them another gift. One small boy wore a red cap. Father saw him and asked, "Were you here yesterday?" The boy said, "Yes, I was, sir. I'm an independent and I'm coming again tomorrow." We laughed so much. Another nice moment was an old soldier, a pensioner, with 12 small children around him. He looked proud and kind. A 13th child ran after them, even though he wasn't invited. His clothes were upside down, and he held his shoes in his hands. I let him stay. He sat down and put on his shoes happily. I was happy. Everything went well. The children were good and polite. I wished I had space for all the others who couldn't come. Maybe next year I can do more. There are about 800 children in the schools in Perth. That is a big number for such a small town. I could not do everything alone. I had help from my girls. These girls are like daughters to me. They are kind, pretty, and very helpful. They help with flowers, children, bazaars, everything. At the tree parties, they helped with tea, gifts, decorations, and keeping things smooth. They worked hard and made everything beautiful. I was very lucky to have them. Letter 19th. Government House, Perth, June 1884. I never told you about our picnics in the bush. We had 2 or 3 wonderful picnics. We ate lunch under the trees. The ground was soft and green. There were ferns and flowers. The flowers were not as bright as the ones on the sand plains, but they were still pretty. I sat on a fallen log and listened to the magpies. The magpies whistled and talked to each other. Louis had the most fun. He liked to make a fire inside the hollow trunk of a tree. The tree was like a fireplace, and the smoke went out through the top like a chimney. Louis smiled and laughed every time he made a fire. At one big picnic, Louis did something even more exciting. He went up the hills with some men. He set fire to the old stumps of blackboy trees. The blackboy trees grew everywhere. The trees looked like black boys with green hair. The trunks were dark and straight. Inside the trunks were sticky flakes full of tar. These flakes burned very well. They were the best wood for starting fires. We used these flakes to make fires at home. The flakes made bright flames and a nice smell. I always kept a box of these chips in the corner of the drawing room. Louis loved to light the leaves under the blackboy trees and watch the fire go up. But now winter has started. It is too cold for picnics. It rains often, and the wind is strong. Still, some days are sunny and beautiful. Some nights are very cold. We light our fire by 5 o'clock when it gets dark. On one cold but sunny Saturday, I made a Kylie tea on the race course. The race course was 5 miles away. We went by carriage. A dog cart carried the native policeman and the tea. We watched them throw their Kylies. A Kylie was a special curved stick. It flew in circles and came back to the thrower. The native policeman was named Freddie. He threw the Kylies well. He had been tame for many years. He was a good man. The other men tried to throw Kylies too, but Freddie was the best. Louis watched Freddie carefully. Louis learned the wrist movement. He learned to throw the Kylie like a bird. He was happy. Now, on Saturday afternoons, we have paper chases. The riders meet in front of the house. There are 30 or 40 riders. Some are women. All the horses are strong. 2 hares ride ahead and drop paper. Then the hounds follow. They ride very fast. They ride through the bush. The bush is thick with many trees. There are holes and fallen logs. It is hard to ride there, but the horses are clever. They jump and turn quickly. The riders go fast. Louis's horse, Jera, is very good. Jera runs fast and never falls. While the riders chase, I go with the van. I take my girls. We bring tea. We light a fire and boil water. Then we wait. We walk and find flowers. We found a strange insect in a log. It had a flat head like a balloon. It moved the balloon head up and down. We watched it for a long time. Then we heard horses coming. The hares arrived first. Then the hounds came in groups. They laughed and drank tea. They were very thirsty. I gave them tea. Some drank soda water. Everyone was happy. I checked that. All the riders came back safe. Some were missing hats. Some had scratches. But no one was hurt badly. We packed the things and went home. The riders rode slowly home. They came back in lines and said good night. There is no kangaroo hunting near Perth now. The kangaroos live far away. They go where the grass is good. Farmers chase them away. People eat kangaroo tail soup. It tastes like oxtail soup. The meat is dark and stringy, but when cooked well, it is tasty. It is like deer meat. Now, many people are hunting dingoes. Dingoes are wild dogs. They kill sheep. They are hard to catch. One man built a big fence for his sheep. But dingoes lived inside the fence. They killed many sheep. The man and his workers waited with guns, but the dingoes escaped every time. The dingoes were clever. The sheep became fewer. The dingoes won. I will come back home soon to send Louis to school. He is growing wild. I will miss this place. We lived here 1 year. It was a happy year. The people are good and kind. Western Australia is growing. There will be new trains and roads and wires. The colony will change. But I hope the people stay simple and honest. Their motto can be, poor but honest. I am proud of them. Dear friends, I have made a simple summary of the book Letters to Guy by Lady Barker. It is easy to understand and good for learning English with joy. I divided it into 4 parts and uploaded them on YouTube. If you enjoyed the story and found it helpful, please support the channel by subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment. Thank you very much.